A continuation of Sura 2, 179. O ye who believe, equitable retaliation in the matter of the slain is prescribed for you. The free man for the free man, and the slave for the slave, the female for the female. But for him who is granted any remissions by his injured brother, pursuing the matter for the realization of the blood money, shall be done with fairness, and the murderer shall pay him the blood money in a handsome manner. This is the alleviation from the Most High in mercy. Also transgress thereafter, and whoso transgress after, for him there shall be a grievous punishment. 180. There is life for you in the law of retaliation, O men of understanding, that you may enjoy security. Exactly. 184. You who believe, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may guard against evil. 3 stars next to that. 185. The prescribed fasting is for a fixed number of days, but whoso among you are sick or is on a journey shall fast the same a number of other days. And for those who are able to fast only with a great difficulty in the expiation, the feeding of a poor man, and whoso does good of his own accord, it is better for him, and fasting is good for you. If you only knew, I'll put my parentheses, even if you're sick, you should definitely still fast, because it helps you to clean your body out, as any other animal does when it gets sick. It eats grass and fast to clear your body out. 186. The month of Ramadan is that which the Quran was revealed as a guidance for mankind, which with clear signs, proof of guidance and discrimination. Therefore, whosoever of you is present at present at home in the month, let him fast therein. But whoso is temporarily sick or is on a journey shall fast the same number of other days. Allah desires ease for you, and He desires not hardship for you. And He desires that you may complete the number, and that you may exalt Allah for Him having given guidance, and that you may be grateful. 188. It is made lawful for you to go into your It is made lawful for you to go unto your wives on the night of the fast. They are a sort of garments for you, and a sort of garments for them. Allah knows that you have been acting unjustly to yourselves, wherefore He has turned you with mercy and afforded you relief, so you may now go into them and seek what Allah has ordained for you, and eat and drink until the white threads become distinct to you from the black threads of dawn. Then complete the fast till nightfall, and do not go into them while you remain in the mosque or in devotion, for these are the limits set by Allah. So approach them not. Thus, Allah makes His commandments clear to men, that they may become secure against evil. I don't worry about that. 189. And do not devour your property among yourselves by false means, and offer it as a bribe to the authorities, that you may devour a part of the wealth of other people wrongfully, while you know. 190. I believe this one has 3 stars. They ask thee about the new moon. Say, they are a means of measuring time for the general convenience of people, and for the pilgrimage. It is not righteous that you come into the house by the backs thereof, but truly righteous is he who respects the Most High, and you should come into the houses by the doors thereof, and respect the Most High, that you may prosper. 191. And fight in the way of Allah against those who fight against you, but do not transgress. Surely Allah loves not the transgressors. 192. Slay these transgressors wherever you meet them, and drive them out from where they have driven you out. For persecution is worse than slaying. And fight them not in or near the sacred mosque until they fight you therein. But if they fight you, then fight them. Such is the requital for the disbelievers. I have no idea what that means. Dictionary. 193. But if they desist, then surely Allah is most forgiving, merciful. 194. And fight them until there is no persecution, and religion is professed only by Allah or for Allah. But if they desist, then remember that no hostility is allowed except against the wrongdoers. 195. The violations of a sacred month may be retaliated in the sacred month. For all our sacred things, there is the law of retaliation. So whoso transgresses against you, punish him for his transgressions to the extent to which he has transgressed against you, and respect the Most High. And I still don't understand where you get the laws of retaliation. I guess probably in the Torah. 197. Complete the pilgrimage and the Umrah for the sake of Allah. But if you keep back, then make whatever offerings is easily available, and do not shave your heads until the offering reaches its destination. And whoever among you is sick and has the ailment on his head should make an expiation, either by fasting or almsgiving or the sacrifice. But when you are safe, But when you are safe, then he who would avail himself of the Umrah together with the pilgrimage should make whatever offering is easily obtainable. But such of you who are not able to find an offering should fast 3 days during the pilgrimage, and 7 when you return home. These are the 10 complete. This is for him whose family does not reside near the sacred mosque, and respect the Most High and serve. 198. The month of the pilgrimage are well known, so whoever determines to perform the pilgrimage in these months should remember that there is to be no foul talk, nor any transgression, nor any quarreling during the pilgrimage, and whatever good you do, Allah knows it. And furnish yourselves with the necessary provisions for your journey, and surely the best provision is righteous. And respect me alone, O men of understanding. 202. And of them there are some who say, O Lord, grant us good in this world as well as good in the world to come, and save us from the fire, the torment of fire. 203. For these there are to be a goodly share because of what they have earned. Allah is swift to reckoning. 205. And of men there is he who talks on his life would please thee, and he calls Allah to witness as to that which is in his heart, and yet he is of the most contentious of quarrelers. 206. I swear to God. Exactly. 206. And when he's in authority, he runs about in the land to create disorder in it, and destroys the tilth and the progeny of man. Allah loves not disorder. 207, I believe. And when it is said to him, respect the Most High, pride incites him to further sin, so hell shall be his sufficient reward, and surely it is an evil place to rest. 214. Mankind were one community, then they differed among themselves, so Allah raised prophets as bearers of good tidings and as warners, and sent down with them the book containing the truth, that he might judge between the people wherein they differed. But then they began to differ about the book, and none differed about it except those whom it is given after clear signs, and come to them out of envy towards one another. Now has Allah by thy commandments guided the believers to truth in regard to that which the unbelievers differed. Allah guided whomsoever he pleased to the right path. 215. Do you think that you will enter heaven while there has not come to you like which has come to those of the past? Poverty and affliction befell them, and they were violently shaken until the messenger and those who believed among them said, when will the help of the Most High come? Yes, surely the help of the Most High is nigh. 217. Fighting is ordained for you, though it is repugnant to you, but it may be that you dislike a thing while it is good for you, and it may be that you like it thing while it is bad for you. Allah knows, and you know not. 2:18. Then they asked thee about fighting in the sacred month. Say, fighting therein is a heinous thing, but to hinder men from the way of Allah, and to be ungrateful to Him, and to hinder men from the sacred mosque, and to turn it out because of His people, is more heinous in the sight of the Most High. Persecution is worse than killing, and they will not cease fighting you until they turn you back from your faith, if they are able. And whoso from among you turns back from their faith and dies, he is a disbeliever. It is they who work shall be in vain of this world and in the next. These are the inmates of the fire. 2:25. Make not a lie a target for your oath, that you may thereby abstain from doing good, acting righteously, and making peace between men. 2:26. Allah will not call you to account for such of your oath as are vain, but I will call you to the account of what your hearts have earned. 2:27. For those who vow abstinence from their wives, the maximum period of waiting is 4 months. Then if they go back to their normal relationship, surely Most High is forgiving. 2:29. And the divorced woman shall wait concerning themselves for 3 courses, and it is not lawful for them that they conceal what have created in the womb, if they believe in the Most High in the last day, and their husbands have a greater right to take them back during the period, provided they desire reconciliation, and they, the women, have the right similar to those of men over them in equity. But men have a degree of advantage above them, and Allah is mighty and wise. 2:30. Such divorce may be pronounced twice, then either retain them in becoming a manner, or send them away with kindness. And it is not lawful for you that you take anything of what you have given them, parentheses, your wives, unless both fear that they cannot observe the limits prescribed of Allah. But if you fear that, or worry that they're not able to observe the limits prescribed by Allah, then it shall be no sin for either of them what she gives to get her freedom. These are the limits prescribed by Allah, so transgress them not. And whosoever transgress the limits prescribed by Allah, it is surely they who are wrongdoers. 2:31. If he divorces her the 3rd time, then she is not lawful for her. What? My bad. So if she divorces him for the 3rd time, then she is not lawful for him thereafter the 3rd time, until she marries another husband. And if he also divorces her, then it shall be no sin for them to return to each other. That'll make no sense, not in the Torah, provided they are sure that they would be able to observe the limits prescribed by Allah. And these are the limits prescribed by Allah, which He makes clear to the people who have knowledge. And according to the Torah, you can't, as a person that has been defiled by another, you can't take them back at all. 2:32. And when you divorce women and they approach the end of their appointed periods, then either retain them in the becoming manner, or send them away in the becoming manner, but retain them not wrongfully, so that they may transgress them against them. And whoso does that surely wrongs their soul. And do not make a jest of commandments of Allah. Remember the favor upon you in the book of wisdom, which was sent down. 2:33. And when you divorce your women and they reach the end of their period, prevent them not from marrying their husband, if they agree between themselves in the decent manner. This is an admonition for him among you who believe in the Most High. 2:34. And the mothers shall give such to their children for 2 whole years. So give suck to their children for 2 whole years. And for this is the desire to complete the period of suckling. The man to whom the child belongs shall be responsible for their mother's maintenance and clothing according to usage. No soul, no soul shall be burdened beyond the capacity. Neither shall a mother be made to suffer in account of her child, nor shall he to whom the child belongs be made to suffer on account of his child. And the same is incumbent of the father's heir, if they both decide upon wearing the child's if they both decide upon weaning the child by mutual consent and consultation, there is no blame on them. And if they desire to engage a wet nurse for the child, there shall be no blame on them, provided you pay what you are agreed to pay in a fair manner. 237, it shall be no sin for you if you divorce your woman while you have not touched them, nor settled for them a dowry, but provided for them the rich man according to his means, and the poor man according to their means. 238, and if you divorce them before you have touched them, but have settled upon them a dowry, then half of what you have settled shall be due from you, unless they remit, or he in whose hand it is tied of marriage shall remit, and that they should remit is nearer to righteousness, and do not forget to do good to one another. 245, and fight in the cause of Allah, and know Allah is hearing and knowing. 247, has thou not heard of the chiefs of children of Israel after Moses, when they said to the prophet of theirs, appoint for us a king that we may fight in the way of Allah? He said, it is not likely that you would not fight if fighting is prescribed for you. They said, what reason have we that we should not fight in the way of Allah when we have been driven forth from our homes and our sons? But when fighting was ordained for them, they turned back, except a small number of them. 248, and the prophets, they said to them, Allah has appointed for you Tulat as a king, and they said, how can he have sovereignty over us, while we are better entitled to sovereignty than he, and he is not given abundance of wealth? He said, surely Allah has chosen him above you, and has bestowed upon him abundance increase in knowing, in knowledge, and in strength of the body. 249, and their prophets said to them, the sign of his sovereignty is that there shall be given a heart wherein there will be tranquility from the Lord, and the legacy of good left by the family of Moses and the family of Aaron. And the angels hearing it, surely in this there is a sign for you who are believers. 250, I believe. And when Tulat was set out with his forces, he said, surely Allah will test you with the river, and so he who drinks there is not of me, and he who tasted not is surely of me. He tasted not, tastes not, surely not is of me, and save him who takes only a handful of water with his hand. But they drank of it, except a few of them. And when they crossed it, he and those who disbelieved along with him, they said, we have no power to get today over Julat or his forces. But those who knew for certain that they would one day meet Allah said, how many of small party has triumphed over a large party by Allah's command? So Allah is with the steadfast. 251, and when they issued forth the encounter of Jalut and his forces, they said, O Lord, pour forth steadfastness upon us, and make our steps firm, and help us against disbelieving people. 252, I believe, yep. So they routed them by the command of the Most High, and Dawood slew Yalut. Allah gave him sovereignty and wisdom, and taught him of what oh God bless. Yeah, my bad, I'm getting crazy right now. And Allah gave him sovereignty and wisdom, and taught him of what he pleased, and had not Allah rebelled against God. Alright, my bad. 252. So they routed them by the command of Allah, and Dawood slew Yalut, and Allah gave him sovereignty and wisdom, and taught him of what he pleased, and had not Allah repelled some men by others, the earth would have indeed been full of mischief. But Allah is the Lord and grace of all people. 254, that these messengers have we exalted some of them above others. Among them there are those who Allah spoke, and some of them I has exalted in degrees of ranks. And we gave Yahushua, son of Mary, clear proofs and strengthened him with the spirit of holiness. And if Allah had so willed it, those who came after him would not have fought with one another after the signs had come to them, but they did disagree. Of them were some who believed, and of them some who disbelieved. And if Allah had so willed it, they would have not fought one another, but Allah does what I desire. 260, or hast thou not heard of the like of him who passed by a town which had fallen upon its roofs, and exclaimed, when will Allah restore it to life after its destruction? Then Allah caused his people to cause him to die for 100 years. This has 3 stars next to it, I guess regarding the Yahushua Christ being risen from the dead. Then he raised him and said, how long have you remained in this state? He answered, I have remained in this state a day or a part of a day. Allah said to him, it is so, but thou hast also remained in this state for 100 years. Now look at thy food and thy drink, they have not rotted, and look at thy ass. And we have done this that we may make thee a sign unto men, and look at thy bones, we have set them and then clothed thee with flesh. And when it became clear signs to him, he said, I know that Allah has the power to do what thy wills. Alright. 269, the evil one threatens you with poverty and enjoins upon you what is foul, whereas Allah promised you forgiveness from thyself and bounty. 270, he grants wisdom to those who he pleases, and whoever is granted wisdom has indeed been granted abundance of good, and none would take heed except those who endowed with overstanding. 272, if you give alms openly, it is well and good, but if you hide them and give them to the poor, it is better for you, and he will remit from you many of your evil deeds. Allah is aware of what you do. 273, it is not thy responsibility to make them follow the right path, but Allah guides whoever thy pleases. Whatever of wealth you spend, the benefit of it will be for yourselves, and for you spend not but to seek the favor of Allah. And whatever the wealth you spend, should be paid back to you in full, and you should be not wronged. 276, I believe. Those who devour interest do not rise except as rises one whom Satan has, or the evil one has smitten with insanity. That is because they say trade also is like interest, whereas Allah has made trade lawful and has made interest unlawful. So he to whom an admonition has come, and he desists, will that which he received in the past be his, and his affairs resist. 278, surely those who believe and do good deeds and observe prayer and pay zakat shall have reward from the Most High. 281, and if the debtor be in straitened circumstances, then grant him respite till the time of ease, and that you remit it as a charity shall be better for you if only you knew. Then what was it? 281. And I might have I had to retrack real quick. 65, I believe. Then you turn back thereafter, and had it not been for Allah's grace and high mercy upon you, I have this, you would surely have been of the losers. Then it's 83, but they who believe and do good works, those are the dwellers of heaven, therein shall they abide. 89, they said, our hearts are wrapped up in covers. Nay, Allah has cursed them for their disbelief. Little is that which they believe. 129, our Lord makes both of us submissive to thee, and make our offspring a people of submission to thee. and show us our ways of worship, and turn us with mercy. Then we have 130. Our Lord raises up among them as so our Lord raise up among them a messenger from among themselves, who may recite to them thy signs, and teach them the book and the wisdom, and may purify them. Surely thou art the mighty and the wise. 124. Guard yourselves against the day when no soul shall serve as a substitute for another, nor shall any ransom be accepted from it, nor any intercession avail it, nor shall they be helped. 219. Those who believe and those who immigrate and strive hard in the cause of the Most High, it is these who have hope in the mercy. 220. They ask thee concerning wine and games of chance. Say both of them is great sin and harm, also some advantages for men, but their sin and their harm are greater than their advantages. And they'll ask you what they should spend. Say, spend what you are able to spare. Thus does the Most High make thy commandments clear to you, that you may reflect.